Welcome to Deco Guide, the only app designed to help you navigate your college and career journey in the quickest and most affordable way. This podcast is brought to you by EdTechquity, dedicated to opening doors to higher education and career opportunities for all.
Hey, Professor G. So I'm one of the students that I took out so many loans for undergrad. Now I'm in a graduate program and I have the option to defer paying back my loans, but I have a little extra money to spend, so I'm thinking about paying them back. Do you recommend I do that?
Wow, that's a great question. Wow. Yeah, this is one where it really depends what your spending habits are, what your safety net is, right? Do you have a safety net? Do you not have a safety net? And then not only that, what are the other more say prominent expenses that you may have in your life at the time? So it's very situational, right? So the first thing is I would consider is, do I have enough money to, say, pay my rents, pay my mortgage, pay my bills, right, while I'm finishing off my school? If the answer is no, that you'll be too tight, right, like on a month-to-month basis, and I lived that most of my life, right, month-to-month basis, it's where it gets. You want to make sure that you're first taken care of, meaning you have shelter, right? So if shelter is being taken care of, okay, now you have some options. If shelter is not being taken care of and you're responsible for your shelter, now it's like, okay, I got to have as much money as an emergency savings account as possible. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you it's really situational. In my case, for example, I had loans when I was finishing up my undergrad. I had loans. I took out more loans to finish out my master's degree. Because once you're in a master's degree program, there's certain grants you don't get no more. And so a lot of it is going to be loan. Now, what I decided to do is just postpone my payments. Why? Because I was living on the line of homelessness and and not being homeless, right? Sometimes, we couldn't eat. So, sometimes we couldn't pay electricity bill because there just wasn't enough money. So if you're in that situation, I would not look forward to paying off that loan right away. You still have, I would save that money in a savings account and just not touch it, because you need emergency money just in case crap happens, right? And you can't predict, a lot of things that happen in your life. You can't predict a tragedy that may happen next week, right? You can't predict whether that car you're driving that's brand new, it might be totaled in 2 weeks. It might be totaled in a month, and now you have no wheels. You know what I mean? There's just so many factors. I would first say, look, a student loan is one of the best loans you're ever going to get. Try not to get loans. But if you have to get a loan, a student loan is one of the best loans you're going to get because it's capped at a certain percentage rate that it cannot exceed, right? It does have its own little quirky things that people dislike, but I'll be honest with you, when you go get a home loan, when you go get a car loan, when you go get all these other loans to do things, that is nothing like a student loan, because a student loan is an investment here. Mm-hmm. And this is what makes the most money in your life, is your thought process, right? Your skills. That is very different than a car loan, right? A car loan, you're buying something that's going to go down in value every single year until it's worth nothing. Okay, a loan is you're buying this, right? Which means every year you should be able to use this to make more money. Very different kind of calculation, right? So what I did when I was in school is, because I was poor and I was on that borderline always of like not having enough cash, I never aimed to pay off my loans, even though I had extra $5,000 in the bank. That $5,000 could be gone in a second, right? If my dad fell ill, right? If, something happened to mom, that $5,000's gone, right? And so then I don't have that as a safety net either. So I tell students, if you have a financial safety net, pay off as many loans as possible quickly. If you're like 90% of the population and there is no financial safety net, right, then you need to make sure you're budgeting for emergency money. That means you may not pay off the loan, right, while you're in school. while you're waiting to get that degree to become that professional to make more money. As you make more money as a professional with the degree, there's going to come a day where you're just going to be able to pay the whole thing off. I have some friends who don't want to pay them off. They still pay them, but their assets now exceed how much money that loan is. So it's better that they just have their assets pay for the loan instead of them paying out of their wallet. So there's just different ways and strategies to pay for that loan long term. But again, be cautious as a student. You don't want to be in that situation where you have absolutely zero safety net money, right? Because then you have to start making really dangerous decisions that are fast in order to survive. And that's never a good thing. So keep as much of it in the bank as possible. Learn to save every penny, right? That's my best advice for you. And when you're ready, meaning you feel you have a big enough safety net, now it's time to pay off those loans.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor G.
You're welcome.
Thank you for tuning into Techo Guide, the app focused on bringing you tools and content to help you make better decisions about school, life, and career. We hope this episode has inspired you to pursue and excel in your own educational and career journey. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share.